Formula One explained. Technology and strategy. Governing question. What actually happens before a Formula One season begins, and why preparation matters more than pre-season testing results? Formula One seasons do not begin at the first race. They do not even begin at pre-season testing. By the time cars arrive at the circuit for the opening round, the most consequential decisions of the season have already been made. In this episode, we will explain what happens before a Formula One season begins. We will examine how teams prepare cars months in advance, how engineering priorities are set long before a wheel turns in public, and why much of what determines competitiveness is invisible to fans. By the end of the episode, you should have a clearer understanding of why early narratives based on testing times are often misleading, and why preparation, rather than performance display, defines the foundation of a season. The preparation for a Formula One season begins far earlier than most people realize. Long before a car is assembled, teams commit to a design direction. This direction governs aerodynamic philosophy, packaging choices, suspension architecture, and cooling layout. These decisions are not easily reversible. Once the basic concept of a car is defined, every subsequent choice is constrained by it. Aerodynamic surfaces must work within packaging limits. Cooling solutions must fit within bodywork constraints. Suspension geometry must support aerodynamic requirements. This means the most influential engineering decisions are made when there is still no physical car to see. As the design progresses, teams move into a phase known internally as design freeze. Despite the name, this does not mean development stops. It means that core architectural elements are locked so manufacturing can begin. At this stage, teams are balancing competing pressures. They want to incorporate as much performance as possible, but they must also ensure reliability, manufacturability, and correlation between simulation tools and the real world. Delaying design freeze allows more development time, but reduces time for validation and assembly. Freezing too early provides stability, but risks missing performance opportunities. There is no universally correct answer. Each team makes this decision based on confidence, resources, and long-term strategy. Once manufacturing begins, preparation becomes operational as much as technical. Components are produced, inspected, assembled, and tested individually before being integrated into a complete car. This phase is less visible but critically important. Failures at this stage do not show up as lap time loss. They show up as missed running, delayed testing programs, or compromised reliability. A car that cannot run consistently cannot be evaluated properly. For this reason, teams prioritize car readiness over outright performance when a season approaches. A slower but stable car provides more usable information than a faster but fragile one. At the same time, teams are preparing their simulation environments. Before a car ever runs on track, it exists in multiple virtual forms. Computational fluid dynamics models aerodynamic behavior. Driver-in-the-loop simulators replicate vehicle dynamics. Power unit simulations model energy deployment and thermal behavior. The goal is not to predict lap time precisely. The goal is correlation. Correlation means that what happens in simulation resembles what happens on track. If correlation is poor, data from testing becomes difficult to interpret. Engineers cannot tell whether changes are improving the car or simply exposing model inaccuracies. As a result, one of the primary objectives of early season running is not speed, but validation. This brings us to pre-season testing. Pre-season testing is the first public appearance of the new car, but it is not the start of development. It is a checkpoint. Teams arrive at testing with structured run plans. These plans prioritize data gathering over performance demonstration. Fuel loads are varied deliberately. Engine modes are rarely representative. Setup changes are used to explore behavior, not to optimize lap time. From the outside, this can appear confusing or misleading. From the inside, it is methodical. Testing is used to answer specific questions. Does the car behave as expected? Do aerodynamic changes correlate with simulation? Are cooling systems operating within margins? Is tyre behaviour predictable and stable? Lap times are secondary. Another important aspect of pre-season preparation is operational readiness. A Formula One team is not just a group of engineers. It is a mobile operation that must function flawlessly across a global calendar. Before the season begins, teams rehearse garage build procedures, pit stop equipment integration, data system reliability, communication protocols. Cars, spare parts, and equipment are shipped around the world weeks in advance. Flyaway races require freight to leave factories before the season has even started. Decisions about what to ship must be made without knowing how the car will perform. This introduces risk. Sending too many spares limits flexibility later. Sending too few increases vulnerability to early failures. Once again, teams must manage trade-offs under uncertainty. Circuit preparation is another often overlooked element. Tracks must be homologated. Surface conditions are assessed. Curbs, runoff areas, and safety systems are finalized. Teams study circuit characteristics months in advance. They model expected loads, cooling demands, and tire usage. This information feeds back into car preparation. A season does not begin with a blank slate. It begins with a set of expectations shaped by planning and analysis. By the time the first race weekend arrives, teams are not discovering their cars. They are confirming assumptions. Early races rarely determine a season outright, but they reveal whether preparation was coherent. Cars that behave consistently tend to improve steadily. Cars that behave unpredictably often struggle, regardless of underlying potential. This is why preparation matters more than early headlines. The foundation of a season is built quietly, months before competition begins. Understanding what happens before a Formula One season starts provides a clearer lens through which to interpret everything that follows. If you found this explanation useful, you can follow or subscribe to Formula One Explained, Technology and Strategy for future episodes.